Hey guys, Mike from Wrestling Then and Now. Thanks so much for checking out the YouTube channel and for all your support. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. I have so much content coming up. You don't want to miss anything. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. It really does help my channel grow. Thanks again.
When people came down to the school, they were trying out to get a job with the WWE, or were they trying out just to be able to train with Rip and Danny?
Okay, so when we were in the Jeffersonville building, the OVW guys like Brock, Cena, Randy Orton, Victoria, Shelton was there. But at some point, we moved over to the building in Louisville. But Danny kept the building in Indiana. So any developmental talent from WWE were going and training in the building in Louisville, which was much nicer. Anybody that wanted to be a walk-on trained in the building in Indiana with me on the weekends. So that was kind of anybody that was trying to get in. And there were several that did walk on. Johnny Jeter from the Spirit Squad, Chris Cage, who was Kraylin Croft, JTG, Armando Estrada. I think Beast also, Shad, I believe he went to a tryout, but he trained there a lot. And I know I'm trying to forget somebody. There's been several referees, Chris K. There was JBL's Butler. He started in my class, if you remember him. But there's a whole host of guys that started there that just wanted to be a part of it and got in that way. But when WWE sent their talent down, when they first saw the Davis Arena in Louisville on Mechanic Street, it's not much to look at, but it's like a place that has heart, you know? Like when Rocky wanted to go back to training on the streets, you know, where it meant something. That's what the OVW building in Indiana was. And WWE said, maybe let's have something a little bit more appeasing to the eye, which is understandable.
Who were the first guys WWE sent down?
First guy was Rico Constantino. And so Rico is awesome. Rico needs a book. I mean, he was he was a bodyguard for the band Kiss. He was a bodyguard for the faith healer Benny Hinn. He's been shot. He's been stabbed. He's been a police officer. He's been a paramedic. He started pro wrestling at the age of 39. And apparently, I don't know the exacts of the story, but someone called WWE. What are you going to do about it? And this was at the height of WWE, WCW rivalry. What are you going to do about Rico Constantino? If you guys don't hurry up and sign him, then we're going to go to WCW. And it just so happens his tape was right there back when we had to send the VHS tape. The tape was right there, popped it in, and he got signed. And Cornette loved him. The character he was doing as he come in was the 80s babyface type. And Rico got so good, then he became a good heel. And he played a good character on TV, but he had much more range, and he's just a fascinating individual. But he was the very first guy to come in. I believe it was 98, I think.
He was American Gladiator champion, too.
Yeah, well, he walked on the American Gladiators and won. I mean, this guy, you know, phenomenal guy.
So he's getting a paycheck every week from the WWE. First guy there. Okay, got it. So who else trickled in?
Soon after that, it was Brock, it was Batista. I can't remember at what point Cena came. Victoria came. Randy came. Then there were guys, a couple guys like there was a 7'2" guy, Big Russ McCullough. He didn't pan out. There was this huge bodybuilder, Dave Nelson, who looked enormous. He was in The Rock's video when The Rock had I can't remember the name of the song, but he had a song video, and at the end, he punches out this big guy. He was under contract with us for a while, but he didn't pan out. I can't remember the whole list. I mean, I'm sure we could look it up if we needed to, but it was a good time. Eventually, Sean O'Hare and Jindrak came when the WCW buyout came.
Right.
You know.
Were you training the WWE guys?
So at that point, I had 3 or 4 years experience. So Danny never got in the ring when he trained us, and he didn't get in the ring when he trained the WWE guys. We were normally in the ring working out with them. At the point when we were moving from the building in Indiana to the building in Kentucky, Danny a lot of the times was negotiating that, painting that, getting that up to code. So myself or Rob Conway would kind of, I don't want to say I trained these guys because I don't want people think that I was the only one that did it. I was one of a couple trainers of that group. And I remember one day, you know, we did all the finishes of all the guys that were on TV. So we're taking rock bottoms and stunners, and we did it at the show that night as a joke. And Rick Rogers goes, "Oh, that's funny. You're never going to be taking those moves." And within 2 years, everybody's taking Stone Cold stunners and rock bottoms.
Talking about Jim Cornette. I love Jim Cornette.
Oh my gosh, he's threatened to kill me twice.
Only twice?
I was very fortunate that he liked Nick Dinsmore and he could write for the Nick Dinsmore character. I was the hometown boy. I was babyface. I was a decent high school athlete, and he makes it sound like I was, a high school world champion or something. I did fairly well in wrestling and football, but he painted a picture of me that is now almost a legend in Southern Indiana, Louisville area. But then when he would put me in the matches and I would wrestle guys like I wrestled Buddy Landell or Brian Christopher, and then he brings in Chris Benoit, Al Snow, and guys like that. When I go toe to toe 20 minutes with Chris Benoit in Louisville, people looked at me as a different type wrestler than they did before. So I was fortunate that Cornette could write so well. He was so creative, and he could write for me. I love him as a person, but God damn, he's got 8 hours worth of podcast every week. Is that right?
He's making some coin.
Oh my God, damn! I love Jimmy. I don't know if I can handle 8 hours a week, but I definitely love listening to him, and I agree with everything he says. But sometimes you get listening, you get a little fired up yourself. My blood pressure goes up. I gotta calm it down a little bit. But I understand everything that he says, and I agree with. I'm going to say 99% of it because I don't listen to him all the time. But he's a great guy.
Any epic Cornette rant stories?
So myself, Conway, Danny Basham, Doug Basham, or maybe Flash were usually in the main event of OVW's TV. OVW was live to tape.
Right.
They could edit, but Danny tried not to. He just tried to run it straight through. So we would always be last so we could hit that time at the very end. At 0-0, you got to be somewhere, and, whatever it is. And this was the first time that Cornette put someone other than us in that spot. It was Randy against Cena. And we watched it, and they went over 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And I think Randy was a little smart to it. He came in, got his stuff, and left. Cena comes back. He's undoing this thing right there. 2 minutes and 17 goddamn seconds. Throws his clipboard. 2 minutes and 7. Goes outside, kicks something, come back. 2 minutes. And Cena is just like, now figuring out, how important that 2 minutes and 17 seconds, they're going to have to spend 8 hours editing, to get everything down out of that. And Cena said, since then, he's always made his time, but Cornette went off and screaming and breaking glass and screaming up and down.
That's Jimmy. I love Jimmy. He's the best. I worked Smoky Mountain TV before, and I'm sitting there watching him go nuts. I say to Chris Candido, "What's going on?" He goes, "Don't pay no attention to that. That's just like part of the furniture. It's just something in the room. Don't worry about it." WWE ever send a guy down there with high hopes, and you're like, "This ain't gonna happen"?
Oh, I don't know really. I was just there like. I was wanting to pass on the knowledge that I had. I never really thought I would make it. I thought I was like, maybe a glorified tackling dummy. When I ended up getting hired, I was like, oh my God, of all of the guys there that were not, that became before, all the guys that were there before WWE, myself and Flash got hired, and that was it. And I don't think we told anybody. We talked to it amongst ourselves, but I felt weird then because somebody that, is just as capable is not getting paid, and we weren't getting paid much. But it was, just great to be getting paid anything.